Welcome to this special issue of Broken Not Shattered. This is one of the interesting parts of this show that I love so much because I get to speak to someone who I hold so dearly, someone who means a lot to me personally, and at the end of the day, we get to have a good laugh. So I'll see you back in a few minutes as we go live. Good evening, fam. Welcome to another issue of Broken Not Shattered. This is your host, Ike O, and I am excited about today's show because I get to speak to someone that I love so much. She is such a phenomenal, smart, intelligent, beautiful, gorgeous, elegant in everything she does, and I just love her sense of humor. No one else to do this show with me that I feel is so perfect than my today she's actually more of a co-host than actually a guest. But before I actually go into today's conversation, I just have a question for anyone out there who's listening to us, wherever you are in the world, whether you are in the United Kingdom, whether you are actually operating in Africa, especially Nigeria, or whether you are in Qatar, which is one of the places where I have a lot of engagement from, or if you're in the United States or somewhere else in Africa, especially my fam in Nigeria. Greetings to all of you. Like I just said a few minutes ago, today's guest is beautiful, intelligent, smart, gorgeous. She has a phenomenal sense of humor. This is my babe. I'm putting it out there for the whole world to know before she comes on. But I saw something recently and it says, what is the most important part of the human body? What is the most important part of the human body? And everybody else, people said, oh, it's the head because the brain is there. Oh, it's the ears because I can hear. And someone said, oh, it's the eyes because I get to see. And, people just putting out, others said some other parts of the body too, right? So, yeah. So all parts of the body were just coming out back and forth. And at the end of the day, the answer came up, which I'm going to ask my guest if she knows. Please, fam, join and welcome me to the show and into the studio, the one and only Gigi.
Hi.
What's up, baby? What's up?
Hi.
You good?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, you're looking fly, sis. What's going on? Hey, I see you.
It's been a long day.
It's okay. Thanks for making out time from your busy schedule. I know you're rounding up back in school. And you got a lot going on academically and preparing for your prom, preparing for your final year exams, and you're making your way out of your high school this year into college next year. So we are super, as a family, we are super proud of you for your accomplishment academically and what you left your mark at that college. So as long as the history of that college goes on, your name will always be there. And then I want to thank you also for actually having a full scholarship, so I don't have to get to pay school fees next year when you go to college. Thank you, baby. Hey, hold on a second. Don't worry. I know you're going to hold me to ransom one of things, but that's fine. Yes, so thank you. We're proud of you. Okay, girl? Now, I asked a question earlier on while I was still waiting, and I said, can anyone tell me what is the most... someone made a comment. Let's just check it out. Hold on, Gigi. Okay, someone just he's hearing you. Okay.
Let's hear it.
Oh, she says, "Hey, Gaily, face red, heart sharp." So your face is red and your heart is sharp. So I guess that's it. That's for you, and I think that's coming from your aunt. So yeah. you I knew you were gonna say that back to her. Well, as I was saying, right? So, what part of the body would you say then is the most important part of the body for you?
I don't know. Like, I think I'll maybe say like the heart.
The heart. Why would you say the heart? And while she's trying to figure out this out, can someone please put in whatever they think? We have guests all over the place. Let me tell me what you think is the most important part of the body. If I can get to it, I'll call it out. If not, okay. Someone says hello, Chichi. Oh, that's Meso. Go
Hey,
ahead.
Bethel. Um,
Why did you say the
my
heart?
heart. I feel like first of all, one, if your heart stops working, then like it's done. You're dead. Talking about your heart is where like I guess it allows you to like love every like basically everything through your body starts in your heart, like the blood pumping, everything. So it's an essential part of who you are, like who your body is. Everybody needs a heart to live. The same way, I'm thinking of heart as in like a bigger thing, like love or something like that. But yeah. Honestly, any part of the body is fine to be fair.
Okay, well that's fine. We have people in someone said the brain, another person said the soul. Now these are all great parts, and I would have agreed with the soul and the brain and the heart. But the answer to the question eventually I found out was
Shoulder.
the shoulder, and I was like, why the shoulder, right? And it goes, this is the only part of the body that you don't get to use.
What do
It's
you
not
mean?
for you. The shoulder is for people that need to put their shoulder here and have a place to cry on. So, Chichi, as you go up in life, I hope you have enough shoulders to carry the friends, family, and loved ones who will come to you, and strangers who will come to you and lean on your shoulder, and you have enough empathy and sympathy and heart to actually carry them on your shoulder, the shoulder. Which is that? Isn't that amazing? And
Yeah.
every time they said, every time you have someone on your shoulder,
Hmm.
tendency the person is about to tear up, about to
Mm.
cry. It's a very emotional place to be. But it was not made for you, it was made for others. What a
That's
great
deep. That's deep. That's deep.
that's very deep, isn't it? And so we're gonna go deep today and we're gonna talk about a few things. So now you're getting ready to go to college.
Yes, sir.
What would you say has been one of the biggest challenges you've had? Uh,
Um,
the academic
Challenges
years.
as in
Because now
like
it's a new phase, right?
this year or just like throughout my whole entire.
Well, this year and throughout the whole experience.
This year I think my biggest challenge was in the beginning of the school year. I was balancing a lot. Like I was balancing volleyball, which is my sport. I was balancing schoolwork, and I was balancing college applications. I think like all three of those things are all time consuming in their own way, and it really tested my time management skills. I was very like overwhelmed. I was very stressed. Um, yeah, it was a tough time. I was definitely leaning heavily on God during that time to just like take me through. I was really looking at the odds and
You
the
were, you
problems.
were dependent on who?
Pardon?
So you were heavily dependent on who?
Oh, on God during that time,
Okay, God. Okay,
like
sorry.
to take me through because trust and belief, it was definitely very, very challenging. But a testimony that I had was throughout all those struggles, all those hardships, all of the overwhelming nights where I was up to 3, wake up at 6 for school, like no sleep, just constant going, body aching, everything like that. That ended up being out of my entire what 13 years of schooling. That turned out to be the best scoring year I had. So I ended up with a 4.5 GPA, straight A pluses through it all. And honestly, I didn't even expect that because there were some days I was really slacking, and stuff like that. But I was able to get it through. So I was very, very, very proud of myself and very, very thankful to God and like the people who are around me who supported me and stuff like that. So yeah, and that just goes to show like through it all, through hard times, like He will help you through it and be there. Like, don't stress. No, there was no need to worry because he already knew that was gonna be because it's also very important for me to look good for my colleges because junior year is important, but then like the first two quarters, first semester is important for colleges as well, depending on when you apply, and so yeah, I was definitely really happy about that. I was very thankful after like the scores came out and everything. I took some time to myself and just thank God and thank you for everything He's done.
It's amazing, Chichi. Wow, well said. Yeah, and I'm not trying to put anyone on the spot, so I'm
Mhm,
not going to call any name. I had a conversation this morning. And you and I have not had this conversation about my conversation that I had with the individual, right? I had a
mhm.
conversation with someone this morning
Yeah.
who's very, very dear to my heart, right? And I
Mhm,
felt like, why, why does she have this very heavy face, right?
mhm,
From the first time I made encounter with her, she had a very heavy face. She's like a daughter to me. So, and I was like, I'm just gonna ignore the face, maybe she's it's early morning blues kind of thing. We're in church, right? So the face continues throughout the whole day. And I'm like, what's up with this, right? So I had time with this individual and I spoke to them and I said to them,
mhm.
why do you have such a very heavy face, right? And they said to me, it's because of all that they're carrying.
Mhm,
Literally, they have to juggle 1,001 balls at the same time, right?
mhm.
And what you just said, I couldn't have said it better, right? Because I'm talking like an old man with gray hair. So she's gonna be looking at me like, come on now, that's what
Yeah.
you have to say. But you are still in high school, just a couple of years ahead of the individual that I spoke to. And so this message you sent, if at all, when she gets to hear it, or if she's listening live, because most of the time they follow our show, she would hear that what I was saying to her without having this conversation with you was the honest and sincere truth. I
Yeah.
know that kids in the Western world, mostly kids everywhere these days, uh,
Mhm.
carrying a lot, a lot, a
Yeah.
lot, a lot. But in spite of all that you're carrying,
Mhm.
find time to be happy and have the right attitude
Oh,
because
of
it will
course.
only get better after a while. Look at your testimony, right? That you went
Yeah.
through all that and it was as if to say the whole world was coming around. You were juggling too many things. You had no time for yourself. You even said body ache and pain, right? So, but eventually you began to pace yourself out. And the most important thing is that you said you had to pray to God to give you guidance. And for everyone who's listening, some mother who's running four, five, six children all by herself, the father who's juggling all the bills and they're not adding up, the young man who's out there who wants to do great and mighty things, but everything doesn't seem to be working, a lot of peer pressure, the young girl who's out there doing the same thing. I'm all encouraging each and
Yeah.
every one of you, don't give up. The Bible says, cast your burdens onto me. That's what the Lord said, right?
Mhm.
Bring all your problems to me, and I will make those burdens very, very light and easy for you, right? And it's all in the mindset, it's all in the attitude, it's all in how you choose. These are choices you have. You can
Mhm.
be broke or unhappy, or you can be broke and happy. Guess what? You can be rich and still be unhappy, and you
Mhm.
can be rich and still be happy. So everything about life is the attitude and the choices. And I'm very happy to say, daughter, that you've made some phenomenal choices in your time. And like I said earlier on, you're just my girl, and I'm so happy that you've come a long way and you're still on the right track. So just stay steady, keep on coasting, and trust in God. Okay.
Mhm.
Now
And
to your peers now. So I'm asking you this question. So to your peers, um, what do you think the challenges of the future would look like? And do you have any plans to address them as you go forward?
what do you mean by challenges in the future?
Well, you're leaving college, high school,
Mhm.
and now you're going into university.
Mhm.
What do you think those big challenges are?
Oh, I think for sure one of the biggest challenges is peer pressure. I know like a lot of people are about to go into college and okay, let me first start by saying this. I go to an all girls school. So I think the first foremost challenge is like people not knowing how to interact in front of like the opposite gender, so like guys and stuff like that. Um, like I have a lot of like guy friends stuff like that. So it's
Hey,
never.
hey, hey, hold on, hold on,
Whoa,
hold on, hold
whoa,
on.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Wait,
whoa,
wait,
whoa.
wait, where you get your guy
Sorry,
friends
yeah.
from?
Huh?
I'm still your father. Forget about the show. Where you getting guy friends from?
No, no, no. Like my old school and stuff like
Oh,
that.
I'm
No,
just messing with you. Go ahead.
trust me,
I
trust me.
got you.
Thank you. Yeah, so like I feel like that's gonna be a big issue. But like aside from that, that's because like that's personal to like where I'm at. I think just like peer pressuring. I feel like the biggest thing is like knowing who you are and not letting anything around you change that. Because colleges is gonna come with a lot of temptation. That's just like natural. And anything that you do, not even college, just any day to day, even if you're going to school, stuff like that, you don't know if you want to hang out with these cool people or stuff. This is like the basic like teen type of group and clique problems. But just knowing who you are, staying true to yourself, and knowing that like if you wouldn't do this on a regular basis, don't start doing it now just because you want to fit into the wrong crowd, stuff like that. Low key, my plan going into college in the beginning is like, because I'm a very social person, so just make friends and stuff like that, be social, but definitely like be an observer first, if that makes sense. Like,
No, it doesn't. What does that mean?
so
How do you become an observer?
okay, for me personally, like the people who like talk a lot and like share a bunch about who they are and stuff like that, which is not a problem. It's okay to be like talkative and be outgoing. But when you first meet people, you don't know who they are, and you don't know what kind of spirit or like what I mean, what kind of vibe they're coming on. So when I first meet people, I'm always just like watching and seeing like, okay, this person is cool. Like, okay, I can bring her closer into my circle, or like, oh, like this person she said some questionable thing. I don't know if I want her around my space because like one thing for me, like yes, I do have a lot of friends, but a lot of friends they can't say that they know me very well because I'm very intentional about what I tell to certain people.
That's your father's daughter.
Yeah, because not everybody's all good. Because people can be acting like your friends and then they're like slandering your name behind you. So like the group of friends that I bring into my space, that I bring into my home, stuff like that, those are friends that I know that I can trust. Because not everybody's your friend. And if you don't know, need some guidance, definitely call upon God because He will talk to you, talk to your parents. Because I know back in the day, I had this one friend that I thought she was like my friend forever, and then stuff was going downhill. And I talked to my mom about it, and she's like, the spirit had already told me that this girl, she wasn't good for you, but I had to let you experience that so you know for the future that now it's a lesson. So when you see this kind of person, you already know that, okay, it's not the kind of person that you want to be around. So yeah, just that was a whole lot I said, but just knowing who you are.
It's not a whole lot because what you
Oh,
just said, there's a lot of people that need to hear that. And
yeah,
if you're coming from a parent perspective, people think, oh, it's not true. Even adults need to take
even
that on.
adults, all
Even
ages, all
adults,
ages.
even adults need to take that on.
Yeah.
You always have to be careful about the energy you pick up when you meet people, right?
Hmm.
Because people can be very two-faced very easily, right?
Hmm.
So so you just have to find that balance. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, don't talk too much about what you're doing. Just trying to know, just trying to be observant, and you get to hear people when they speak.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to them, right? Because that's the easiest way to catch people.
Hmm.
Out of the abundance of the heart, right? The mouth will always speak out, right? So what is in people's hearts have a tendency. Very few people in the world have the capacity to have something in their mind, on their heart, and it won't come out of their mouth. The
Hmm.
rest of them, they do. Then if they now get in a very sociable environment where people have dropped their guard, everything begins to come to the surface. And all you have to do is keep your mouth shut and two ears open and
Yeah.
get to find out exactly what they're saying. And that would now help you create, don't be judgmental, but it helps you, navigate how you want to operate in that world. So even as adults, you're right. So
Yeah.
what you said now is perfectly on. We're going to take a short break, Chichi. And when we
Okay.
come back, we're going to look at what you just said in detail, because I think you were very, very profound. Let's come back in a few minutes, okay? Wonderful and well said. Welcome back to this special edition of Broken Not Shattered. It's called the Let's Talk. Let's Talk with Ike. And today, talking with me and my co-host from Pennsylvania, uh, in the United States, is my my right hand dog, my own daughter herself, Chichi. Chichi, thank you for what you just said earlier on. For those who didn't get what Chichi said, please make a rewind and catch it after the show. So you become more discerning. That's what the
Hmm.
biblical word is for it. Uh, and you pick up people's vibes as you go along.
Yeah.
How do you now become? How do you find the balance between being sociable, right? So
Hmm.
you don't spook everyone out, being sociable, but still not losing who you are.
Hmm. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know. I feel like it comes natural. I don't know. I don't know. I think I think knowing that there's a time and place for everything, it's hard because like you wouldn't know until you've gone through it and you've like learned. It's big on like experience. Like some situations, not every day you need to be talking or saying something or being social. Sometimes it's good just to be alone, isolate, learn more about yourself and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's a bit of a tough one still. I think you have to just experience it to know. Because like for me, like there's some like things have come up like when I'm talking not in the right time or I'm playing too much, something like that. But then I learn by experience. And next time I know, like, okay, Chichi, you need to like hold your tongue. It's not every day just speaking and talking. And then you now learn, and then you now become more wise, and then it now just flow naturally. You know.
Yeah, I think you hit it on. I think one of the things that you should have is emotional intelligence. A lot of us have a very
Mm,
high IQ, which means that you have the capacity to articulate things mentally.
mm,
But your emotional intelligence, right, is what would actually help you with your interaction with people
mm,
on a daily basis. You must make sure that your EQ, right, or
mm.
emotional quotient is as just as high as your IQ,
It's
right?
hard though
I know it's hard,
because
but see,
emotional intelligence
the easiest way though to
is to
stay
interact.
emotionally intelligent, Chichi, is for you to always try, right, to
Mm,
put yourself in other people's shoes,
mm,
right? Always try. So I spoke to one of my nephews today, and I asked him, "What did he learn in church?" And he said, "Humility." And I said, "What does that mean?"
mm,
Humility. And this young 10-year-old schooled me on humility, meaning the capacity to put other people first,
mm,
right?
mm.
So as much as I was listening to him and I was learning from this, in my head I'm saying, what's the balance between putting other people first at the detriment of yourself?
Mm.
Does that make sense?
That's a
Right?
deep one.
Because so that's why I say everything in life has to have a balance. You can put other people first, which is all well and good, but when you put other people first at the detriment of losing yourself,
Yeah.
right? So you're in college or at work, and everybody says this is the way forward, and you say, okay, I'm putting other people first. It's not about me. I'm just going to go with the crowd, but you know that crowd you're going with is not where you should be.
Mm.
So there always has to be a balance, right? And that balance is what I always tell folks wherever they are, is the ability to know who you are. Because once you know completely who you are, it is difficult for people to tell you who you're not. They might accuse you of things, they might
Yeah.
call you names that are not your names. But once you know who you are as a person, and especially for those of us who are in Christ, if the foundation of knowing who you are is in Christ Jesus, then it's easier to deal with whatever comes your way, right?
Mm.
So you go through the storm, but don't let the storm go through you.
Mm.
I'll
I
say that
think.
again. You go through the storm, but don't let the storm go through you. Because once the storm goes through you, it's going to wipe you out.
Mm,
The good book says everything is working out for your good, Chichi. So if
mm,
everything is working out for your good, even the hard times and the challenging times and the tough times that you're going through, it's all building you up. It's
mm,
bringing out things in you that you never had. Does that make sense?
mm,
Time and chance happens to everyone. There's a time and a chance for everyone. Just make sure when that time comes, you're ready to catch it.
mm,
Because if you're not ready to catch it, you'll miss it. And you might come back again because what's for you is always going to be for you. But
mm.
you're older, a little bit more gray.
I think also, where you say like you have to know who you are. I think like literally like I can't stress this enough. Like um really truly take the time to figure out who you are. Like it's not gonna be a one day thing. You have to like through whatever you go through, you figure out, oh, I like this or I do like this. I think it goes as far as even like your future relationships and stuff like that. You know, not just like partners, but like your friends, stuff like that. And also like I can give an example. Like one time, this time in school, this teacher had said something about me. Trust me, I know who I am. Like I've worked on myself. I know what I know. You know, I know what I like, don't like. You know, stuff like that. And this teacher came and she was like, "Oh, Chichi was being disrespectful. Chichi was da 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 da." And you know me, I'm not disrespectful, especially not to a faculty member. So when she had told my teacher had talked to me. She's like, "Chichi, like, what's going on? you're saying you're disrespectful, and I know you're not. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't disrespectful. I was just talking to my teacher, and even my teacher can attest to it. But during that time, everyone was like, oh, Chichi, like you were very calm. You weren't stressed. I was like, I know. I'm not a disrespectful person. Like I know who I am, and no one's gonna tell me that I'm being disrespectful, especially not to a faculty member or someone above me, even my classmates. That's just not who I am. So throughout the whole time, I didn't let her try and condemn me. I didn't try any of that stress, worry. There was nothing there. I was very calm, very cordial. I knew the truth was gonna come out, and I didn't let her, whatever intention she had, try and like ruin my mood or whatever was going on
Well
because,
done.
you know what
Well
I
done.
mean.
Well done. Awesome. That's fantastic. Good job. You learned something.
Thank you.
Parents, we can only do but so much. I think the foundation years is when you pour in what you need to pour into your child, raise them up in the way they should go. Once they get older, they will never depart from it.
Mm-hmm.
For all the parents who are watching, you've done a phenomenal job. Don't worry about how your kids are reacting now because me, I was a black sheep of my house. Call any sibling of mine, they will tell you if little, this young man, there's no way he was going to make it in life. But God being so kind and so careful, He knew what He had already put in me, and so all those things I was fighting against, injustice, and the rule of law in the house, and all those things that I wanted to fight for, that I didn't know what I was fighting for at those times, are the same things I'm passionate about. And everybody would always tell you, Ike is a people's person, all about people. So if someone wants to stifle me or tries to put me in a box and try to say, "Oh, you can't talk to this person, you can't talk to that person, you can't do this, you can't do that," you're taking away who I am. And after a while, I'll shut you down. I'll say, "Hey, you can't do this because you're taking away who I am. I'm a people's person, and I know my calling and purpose in life is to empower, encourage, support, uplift, anyway, show love and kindness to people around me. And sometimes I get burnt for doing it, but that's fine. It's part of the journey.
Me
I think
too.
we have a few more
Honestly.
minutes before. Sorry, what?
I said I agree with you. I think I'm a people person too. Like one thing, like my school's always saying, I teach you, like you're always that person that's like bringing people together and like making sure that everybody's like having fun. So, like, and it's not even like I'm consciously trying to do it. I just like to do it. I like everybody. I like to have fun. I like to be happy. So if I can make sure everyone's feeling happy and everyone's laughing and being like, I'll do that. So.
Yes, yeah. It's a gift, and there's a difference between being a people's person and a people's pleaser. For those who are out there, two different things, right? And we can't go into that this afternoon because I know my therapist is also online, and if I say the wrong thing, they will literally call me to order, say, you got it wrong there. So I ain't down into that space, but I know the difference between a people's pleaser and a people's person. Let's take the next few minutes. Tell me about your social life. What are the kind of social struggles that people are facing at your age in today's world? Social.
Mm,
What's the impact of social media?
what's the what?
Impact of social media.
Impact?
Yeah. How does it? Is it? Well, I know it has the good side and the bad side. So,
Okay.
what's going on? Because a lot of teenagers. I read something recently, an article that
Mhm.
said that we've had more suicides out of the people who are watching TikTok
Mm,
than anything else. Now, how true that is, I don't know. How you justify that, I don't know. But you know, everybody is just so consumed by what they see on their gadgets that
mm,
most of the times they're not real.
mm,
How does that affect you as a young girl in America? Because whatever goes here
mm,
goes on in the UK, it goes on in parts of Africa, or if
mm.
not all parts of Africa.
I think social media is very toxic. It's
It's
a
very
very
what?
toxic. It can be very toxic. Like if you get too far into it, you have people telling you so many things, this and that. You see like a bunch of, I think a lot of like young girls feel like they have to be more grown, seeing all these grown girls. It's a very like what's that word? I can't remember the word, but it's like a very like place I don't like to like dabble.
Addictive?
Huh? Not addictive, but like the waters is just it's just I don't like to get too far deep into it.
So
Me personally,
monkey waters and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Like I was actually just talking to my cousin the other day and she's like, oh, like I did Instagram because like I don't have time for it's just too stressful sometimes. And I feel like some people like if you don't want to get into all the stresses and stuff that come with social media, then just like remove yourself from that situation. Me personally, my social media, nothing can stress me in this life. You understand? There's no stress. But specifically, like for social media, like I'm not pressed to look like stuff, but it takes time. It takes like knowing who you are, back to the same sense, knowing who you are. Like I know who I am. I don't want to look like these other people, or like I'm not looking to be on that kind of like famous, whatever, whatever, whatever. I keep all my socials very low key. Like I don't know. I know a lot of people around me are always obsessed with all the followers, all the likes, as every day. Oh, I didn't get this my like. Oh, let me do the post. Like you posted it because you think you're pretty, or you posted it because you liked it. So it doesn't matter who likes it, who doesn't like it, or if you
That's
don't
correct.
get a certain like goal. It's a whole bunch. It's a whole lot. But just knowing, like I said, who you are, who you want to be, and like not letting the stresses from the outside come and like
Wow.
stress you out.
Well,
You know,
you have spoken very well, my kid. Uh, Great job. It's a whole lot of a whole lot. I like that
it's a
last
whole
paragraph.
lot.
Yeah,
It's a whole lot, a whole lot.
it's a whole
I
lot
don't
of a
like
whole lot. I'm gonna take that one. Next time you see me wear a t-shirt, it's gonna say a whole lot of a whole lot. But that's a good one. So I think we're gonna wrap up today's show. Thank you for making out time from your busy schedule to actually call. And if anybody has a question for Chichi, this is a good time to put it in. And I think Chichi will take it. I'll take the first two questions that come through. And if nothing comes through in the next 1 minute, we're gonna shut this down and we'll see you again next week. Now, this is the part where while you're trying to put your questions for Chichi, because I'm good, I just want folks to please pass the word around that Broken Not Shattered is here to stay by the special grace of God. And for those who have been very supportive all these years, we want to thank you. We want to get more people on these platforms. We're doing our best in the background to create the buzz, to create everything else. We're going to start choosing our topics wisely and carefully so we can get hit some very very sensitive areas. I have a lot to say. I've just been trying to warm up so I don't go into the jungle so quick, and then it's like whoa. People think that this is not a Christian program. Let's just get it correct. It's not for Christians only. It's for everyone who wants to get empowered, get encouraged, get inspired. However, However, I, my co-host Obi, are both Christians, and so you see what's in us come out every now and then. That is the foundation. So if you're Muslim, Hindu, um, whatever you think you are from any religion, black, white, Hispanic, you're welcome here. Just let us know. This is the show for. It's a family-based show, but sometimes we're gonna deal in some very heavy topics like divorce, talk about sex, talk about very heavy things that most people try and run away from, which is the reality of life. Okay. Chichi, thank you again. And to all our guests, please don't forget to click support and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show. And we'll see you again, same time next week, Sunday, which I think is the last Sunday of the month. And in May, which is my birthday month, I have a very powerful lineup of very heavy topics and in some cases good people. Chichi, you have the last word.
Um, Thank you, Dad, for having me. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Ike, for having me on your show
Oh, I'm
today.
Dad, don't worry.
Thanks, Dad, for having me on your show. I'd love to come back again. Just let me know whenever. And yeah, just one thing. If you take away anything from this, just figure out who you are and who you want to be, and the rest will come.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And in our famous three words, Chichi, thank you for being with us today. We truly appreciate you. And we'll see you again soon. So, as we wrap up this show in our famous three words, Obi, wherever you are, I know you love me. I love you too, bro. So, see you soon when you're strong and able to come back. You are healed in Jesus' name. Love, power, and more grace. Take care. Stay strong. We hope to see you guys pretty soon on the next issue of Broken, Not Shattered. Subscribe, like, and please share. We need you.